everybody. Who's joining me tonight late? I know I'm late. Hello. Am I all by myself tonight? Jennifer, first again. Even with me late. Hey, kitty. Dennis. I will get back to you, Dennis. It's been a hustle. Crystal. Welcome to the party. Hello, everybody. Vina's with us. Karen. I almost need my glasses at this point. I'm getting old. Valerie. Abe and Val. Or at least the Val of Abe. Or something like that. Lisa. Alaska is in the house. Woo! You're all popping in here. Our count is going up. People are popping in. How's everybody tonight? What are we grateful for this Tuesday night? It is Tuesday. Tuesday. What are we grateful for? It's the grateful part of our show. What are we grateful for this Tuesday evening? Melissa. How are you? What is everybody grateful for? That is how we start our night. So tell me what you are grateful for this evening. We had the sun out here today, which was nice. I had a bunch of online orders to ship, which was nice. Which was very nice. Even the ones that selected local pickup, which we can't do in Massachusetts, but we're happy to pay for shipping and get their orders. So we were excited about that. It was nice to be able to do that. The unfun part of shipping all those orders today was that I had to take them to the post office and couldn't schedule a pickup because I don't know when we're going to be there or not going to be there. So, what are we grateful for this Tuesday? Nobody's grateful for anything this Tuesday? We're all just still sleeping? Nancy, welcome to the party. Somebody give me something that we're grateful for. I know with this group we're grateful for something. There is something good going on in your world that we're grateful for. March is over? How about March is over? Anybody grateful that March is over? I know we're going to want to skip over April, but March is over. March is in the books. No fooling, tomorrow's April 1st. We're going to wake up and they're going to tell us this whole thing's been a joke. You know, we can hope for that. That would be a wonderful thing to wake up to tomorrow. Well, I'm not getting the feeling anybody has found something to be grateful for other than me today. So, Cynthia, welcome to the party. Let's not forget, people, we have survived 100% of our worst days, and we will get through this. We have survived everything on this sheet. We survived everything that's in the NARTS newsletter this month. The April newsletter, if you have not read it, please read it because it is filled with inspiring stories of overcoming and survival. And we are one step closer to the end of this. Although the governor of Massachusetts announced today that we cannot open again till May 4th. We are not allowed to open. Julie Jankowitz. Julie will have something she's grateful for, right, Julie? Nobody's given me anything they're grateful for. Julie, what are you grateful for? Yes, Massachusetts did May the 4th. I think he just wants to say May the 4th be with you. Illinois did April 30th. And, as we exit March here, I think we all just want to say goodbye to April. Chris, welcome to the party. So, I'm sorry I am late tonight, folks. I do apologize for that. Although, I am the king of 10 minutes late, although I've been doing pretty good with this show. So, lots to cover today. As always, it just seems like the phone calls and lists go on and on. But I have fresh off the presses, literally just that came in. Grateful for doing bookkeeping without interruption. That is good, Nancy. Although there's probably not a lot of books to do with the way March ended and everything else. I haven't even looked at it yet. I don't know that I finished February's bookkeeping, as a matter of fact, but I am with that. So, fresh off the presses, I have, that just came into me just before I went live, I have the application for the Paycheck Protection Program. Fresh in. And so I thought we'd start off with that, because that seems to be an area of great confusion still. And it will be, because they're still writing the regulations for this. While I have the application and everything, and the application is all certified and ready to go, I just knocked something over. I knocked some books over, and some china that went with it. Sorry about that. So the application, as promised, is pretty simple. This is instructions on this page, and front and back application. So I'm going to talk about that. So again, the Payroll Protection Program is for employers in existence on February 15th and paid payroll taxes on employees or paid independent contractors. Small businesses include businesses with 500 or fewer employees, businesses within the SBA small business size threshold, self-employed individuals, sole proprietors, and independent contractors. Accommodation and food service businesses with 500 or fewer employees per location, and any business assigned a franchise operator code by the SBA. All applicants must certify, under uncertainty of current economic conditions, make necessary the loan request to support the ongoing operations of the eligible recipient. Acknowledge that funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage payments, lease payments, or utility payments. The PPP may be used for the following costs incurred between February 15th and June 30th. Payroll costs, which include salaries or wages, family and sick leave, allowance for dismissal or separation, healthcare benefits, retirement benefits, payment of state and local taxes assessed on the compensation of an employee, and the sum of payments to an independent contractor. Not included, sick or family leave where payroll tax credit is already claimed, salaries in excess of $100,000, and compensation of employees outside the United States. Payment on mortgage obligations, rent or lease payments, utilities, interest on debt, and any other debt obligations that were incurred prior to February 15th. You can only use the PPP money on these costs incurred between February 15th and June 30th. Okay, so that is permitted use. Again, permitted use is different than PPP loan forgiveness. So, again, PPP loan forgiveness. The following costs will be forgiven during the 8-week period after the date the loan is issued. Payroll costs, including everything listed above, payments on interest on any mortgage obligation, not principal, rent, utilities. Forgiveness amount may not exceed principal amount of the loan. The amount forgiven will be reduced proportionally by any reduction in employees retained compared to the prior year, and reduced by the reduction in pay of any employees beyond 20% of the prior year's compensation. So even though you can use all those things and those amounts can be part of it, if prior year compensation is taken into account and you're 25% below, you're not going to get the credit. It is used to encourage employers to rehire any employees who have already been laid off due to the COVID-19 crisis. Borrowers that rehire workers previously laid off will not be penalized for having a reduced payroll at the beginning of the period. Emergency grants. Small businesses applying for the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan will be eligible for a $10,000 emergency grant to be issued within 3 days, which you've seen in that application, those of you that have done it. Hey, Paulette and Miss Alaska, Kathleen Hill, thanks for joining us. Deanna, Tracy. PPP interaction with previous SBA loans. Oh, so the emergency grant award of up to $10,000 may be subtracted from the amount forgiven when an economic injury disaster loan is financed into a PPP loan, if it is. PPP interaction with previous SBA loans. The SBA administrator has the authority to purchase loans made before the date of the enactment of the law and cover payments for up to 6 months for the borrower. If an applicant has an SBA loan taken out on or after January 31st, 2020, they have the option to refinance the loan into a PPP forgivable loan. So if you had already taken out a disaster loan, you can refinance that into a PPP loan if you wanted to. The maximum size of the PPP loan is, again, payroll costs incurred during the 1 year period before the date the loan was issued, divided by the average monthly payroll costs incurred during the 1 year period before the date the loan was issued, multiplied by 2.5 or $10 million, whichever is smaller. The recipient shall receive the lesser of the two. Payment deferments. Payment on principal, interest, and fees will be deferred for at least 6 months and up to 1 year after the loan is issued. Rates will not exceed 4%. Loan maturity is 10 years. There is no personal individual guarantee on the loan. SBA guarantees 100% of the loan, and there is no prepayment penalty. Okay. Applications are available. You are able to apply starting April 3rd, this Friday. Okay? At least 75% of the forgiven amount must have been used for payroll. Okay? How to apply? I will post that. Okay, so let's talk about what's on this application. What does it ask? Because that's what a lot of you have been asking. It asks what the legal name of the business is, what the business tax ID number is. It asks what the average monthly payroll is, and it asks you to take and do the math and multiply that by 2.5. It asks you for the number of jobs. It asks for the purpose of the loan. Payroll, rent, utilities, other. It asks for all the owners of the business with greater than 20% ownership stake and their social security number. It asks if the business has been suspended or debarred from any federal department or agency or involved in any bankruptcy. Has the business or any of its owners owned or controlled by any of them ever obtained a direct loan from the SBA that is currently delinquent? Or has defaulted on one in the last 7 years that caused a loss to the government? Is the business or owner of any other business have a common management with any other business? Has the SBA received... Has the business received an economic injury disaster loan between January 31st and April 3rd? If yes, provide the details. So if you took an economic injury disaster loan and it is already closed, you need to provide the details on that. Are you presently subject to indictment or criminal arraignment? Have you committed a felony in the last 7 years? Are you a U.S. citizen? On the back, part 2 of the application. Again, this is a 2-page application, front and back. Well, at least that's the way my printer prints it. If you were to get it from someplace else, it'd probably print it on 2 pages. On the back, you certify that current economic uncertainty makes the loan request necessary. The funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll. Documentation verifying the number of full-time equivalent employees as well as the dollar amounts of payroll costs covered, interest payment utilities for the loan will be provided to the lender. Loan forgiveness will be provided for the sum of documented payroll costs, covered mortgage interest payments, covered rent payments, and covered utilities. And no more than 25% of the forgiven amount can be for non-payroll costs. During the period beginning February 15th and ending on December 31st, the applicant has not and will not receive another loan under this program. So this is separate from the economic injury disaster loan. There is some confusion between people on that, but this is under the 7A program, and the disaster loan is under another. So there is a difference between the programs. There's a lot of confusion around that. I further certify that the information provided in this application I provided is true, and I acknowledge that the lender will calculate the eligible loan amounts using tax documents you've submitted. So, like your 941, your payroll tax document showing that would be the calculation, and all the other stuff is just the normal privacy stuff. So that is the application. I will post that tomorrow morning so that you can see it and have a copy of it. But that is what the payroll protection form application and how quick and easy it is. And that's been a big topic today because people have been hustling for it. But again, you don't want to have that dispersed until you're ready to bring your employees back at least 75%, because that is what the credit is. You need to have at least 75% of your employees working to be able to receive the credit. So that is important. The economic injury disaster loans are moving along. The SBA is working hard on that. They are, ours moved into closing, but there's a screw up with the SBA's website, so we couldn't do that yet, but it is moving into closing, so that is good. Hang on one second here, let's see what else I got for you. Had so much that happened just as I was... There is a payroll tax credit, and I'll post again about this, okay, that allows for a 50% payroll tax credit for employers whose business has been suspended by government mandates or have experienced a 50% decline in gross receipts. The credit is capped at $10,000 in qualified wages per employee, so it's based on $20,000 of income for wages paid between March 12th and January 1st, 2021. March 12th, 2020 and January 1st, 2021. And that'll come right off the payroll taxes you pay the IRS, and then they will credit you any difference. Just in general, on credit in general, hey, Russell's joining us tonight. There's a lot of forbearance on personal debt right now. So mortgages, credit cards, car payments. You know, most of the lenders are really stepping up. In Connecticut, they've the state of Connecticut reached an agreement with most of their banks and credit unions who are offering 90-day grace on all mortgage payments. No fees and charges for late payments or anything else during that period. No credit score changes because of it. All this, and it's likely to roll. That's all rolling nationwide for the most part. Most banks. Again, the only bank I've heard a problem with thus far is Citibank. That people are having issues with, and that's the biggest area, and that's because of Citibank has been very slow to the plate on this, mainly because they have a lot more international exposure than some of the other banks, the Chases and the Bank of Americas do in this current situation. The other big topic of the day, again, has been landlords, and realizing that tomorrow is April 1st, and what do you do? I didn't have a lot of computer time today, as many of you saw, because you were messaging me and I was just trying to keep up with phone calls today. So I didn't have a lot of computer time, so I didn't get the letter posted that I talked about last night, but I will get that posted in the morning. The crux of landlord negotiations is you gotta go into it knowing it's a two-way street. And this is with any vendor and anyone that you're doing business with that you're asking for lack of a better term, wiggle room, okay? And they have bills, they have expenses, they have things. It is a hot topic on Capitol Hill, and I expect to get more on it in the coming couple weeks, especially as rent defaults nationally get a high. It will probably get some more. From a government perspective, there's a lot of push for the Treasury to intervene, and with the actual people that are holding the notes for the landlords out there that are holding the notes on these plazas and malls and everything else in the country. So there's a lot of pressure for the Treasury to intervene and cover the interest and deferrals on that, so that landlords can defer taking payments and defer rent payments. But that hasn't happened yet. I think it will, some with the defaults. But what you're not hearing with people that you've heard are going to default beyond the headlines is that, you're only hearing the headline that Cheesecake Factory or Mattress Firm or the others are not going to pay rent. I mean, even today was Burger King is going to be taking care of rent for a lot of their units and helping people out. There's a great deal of help, but you're not hearing the whole plan or what they're doing, whether they're capping that onto the end, whether they're doing a true abatement and there's no additional cost to the person down the road. What I recommend, and what the letter that I'll put out again tomorrow, I don't know that I don't have it down here with me, but I'll put it out tomorrow, talks about is again keeping it relative. So my normal rent to sales is this. So rent to sales is your cost of occupancy, how much your occupancy costs, including CAM or triple net in there, are relative to your sales. So how much do you pay your landlord and how much your sales are. In the resale industry, overall, that falls between 6 and 12%. On the lower side, if you are in a location that you spend more in advertising usually. And on the higher side, if you tend to spend less on advertising and promotion of your business. When you look at one of the negotiating tactics is really talking to your landlord. My normal rent to sales is 10%. Okay, so if your sales are $1 million and you spend $100,000 a year on rent, okay, your rent to sales is 10%. In just working again with simple math, or about $8,300 a month. So one negotiating tactic that is good is to say, hey, my sales are way off right now, obviously because of this, and some of us are closed down and only doing online, but I'm going to give you 10% of my sales to keep things relative, okay, of what we are doing, Our sales are off 50%, our sales are off 70%, whatever they are. But here is also what I am doing to grow my business. So I've invested in online. I contacted my software vendor and we got an online store going. And I've been listing like crazy, and this is what we've been doing. So, it's a communication, and I'll post that letter. I apologize that I did not get to it today, but I will post that letter tomorrow because, again, landlord things are a big thing. The number one thing that you need to do is communicate. Communicate with all your stakeholders. I've talked about this time and time again. Make sure you're handling things and the most important things, that you have food on your own table, that you're paying your people, that you're paying your consigners. Okay, and you're paying your insurance, because insurance still hasn't gotten figured out. There's still a lot of hope with that and on an individual basis, but those are the main things that you need to make sure you're taking care of, okay? And then communicate with everybody else, as money allows and what your issues are. those are the main things that you need to be working on. So that is the main thing. That's the thing I've been working with people today extensively, and I have a call list lined up already tomorrow of people that I'll be calling to deal with their and help them through their individual situations, because there's some individual idiosyncrasies to all of this that don't necessarily apply to that don't necessarily come across in the large group, or that you don't want to bring up in a message on the screen for everybody to see. And I totally get that. And while this is a no judgment, no embarrassment zone, no anything, I'm just here to help you get to the other side, because we will get to the other side of this. Okay? And absolutely, we're all going to the other side. We are all going to survive. We're all going to get there. We're in this together. You remember, you have to be focused on your goals, but flexible in your methods. So be stubborn as all heck with your goals. Your goal is to have the most successful resale store in your community, in your state, in your area, okay? And be the best asset to your community. Whatever your goal is for your store, focus on that with stubbornness. Do not waver from that, okay? This will not knock you down, but be flexible in your methods. You know, sometimes you have to go left instead of right. Sometimes you have to zigzag. Sometimes you have to do the hokey pokey and turn yourself about, because sometimes that is what it's all about, okay? And sometimes you have to put your left foot in and your right foot out and your left foot in again, and then you have to shake it all about. But when we do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself about, you know, we get to the other side, and we're going to do it together, okay? We are all going to do this together. We're all going to get there. I've seen more and more of you take on online selling and find different ways to put some money in the register during these difficult times. We did mystery boxes of books because we're big on reading, and I had lots and lots of boxes of books to carry to the post office today, which was wonderful. You know, it's just about us getting to the other side, because we have all survived 100% of our worst days. 100% of them. Okay? And we will get to the other side of this together, because you are not alone running this store. So let's talk about some inspiration. What other inspiration do I have for you this evening? Hang on, this requires glasses. Dove chocolate moment. Don't stop until you're proud. And this is perfect for our community. Absolutely perfect. This Dove chocolate. Be with people who make you laugh. Be with people who make you laugh. My Narts people make me smile. I'm still smiling. I'm there with you. I am taking your questions every night. I take them all day long. I answer them. I follow your emails. You follow me on Facebook and send me your questions all day long. I either answer them here, or you get that call from that 508 number and you're like, I don't know anybody in Massachusetts. And then it's Neil on the other side of that line, and I'm taking your calls and your questions. So don't hesitate to reach out. It's Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. Neil at ECIstores.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can, half of you know the 508 number. You can call me. You can text me. You can find the YouTube channel, Not Alone Running This Store, on YouTube and catch the replays or share it with your friends, because the information we have been providing and sharing has been helping so many businesses. I have heard from restaurants. I have heard from food service providers. I have heard from craft stores. I've heard from all sorts of businesses that we have been helping with this information and with these questions that felt no hope. And we have hope here, because we are not alone. And that is important, and we need to spread that hope and that faith. Hope is good, but faith and love are better, and we've got that going too. And we're carrying everybody to the other side. We will carry them, we will drag them. There is nobody that should be going out of business right now, because our best days are ahead of us. They are not behind us. They are forward ho, and we are going to get there together. So I look forward to making this journey, continuing this journey with you. I'll be back here tomorrow night live at 8 o'clock. It drops to the YouTube channel sometime the next day. You're not alone running this store. You and you are not alone running this store. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a great one.